How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Gundam card game video here on Red Zone Rogue. Today we have another Gundam card game deck tech video, but this one is featuring what I believe to be the single most underrated archetype currently in the Gundam card game, ZAFT. And yeah, I just think this is a really fun and actually very affordable archetype to play right now. Essentially, our version of this deck is more of a mid-range version. What we're doing here is we are leveraging powerful support units and cards that have breach. And these work really, really well together because we pump up our breach units or give them breach and then smash into our opponent's mobile suits and breach into their shields and base. All the while backed up by the powerful Justice Gundam, which can sometimes give us 2 attacks in one go to kind of seal the deal. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the top down to talk about our Justice for ZAFT Gundam card game deck tech. Let's do it. Alright, I'm really stoked for this one because it is a long time coming, ever since we did that budget deck video, and this deck is still incredibly budget, very, very affordable. Here is the amount it is currently if you wanted to buy all the singles off a TCG player, but I digress. Let's go ahead and talk about it because I think the deck is super underrated and super fun and really, really synergistic. As always, I have divided the deck into what I call pilot piles. So we have piles of pilot synergy and link potential. We have everything else and, well, all the other units, and then we have some other stuff. We also have some cards that I've been considering and also running in the deck, and I've removed some and done some alterations, even from that budget deck list. I have made some alterations from there. So let's go ahead and start talking about the Justice for ZAFT deck. And of course we have the most important pilot for this deck, Athrun Zala. And as you can see, his pilot pile is a little bit bigger than all the other pilot piles. And that's because Athrun Zala just pairs with and links with a ton of units. I should say there's only one unit in this entire deck that doesn't have a link at all. That's one of the biggest strengths of this deck, is that everything is so synergistic and just links and does so much stuff together, which is great. I should also mention that we have a ton of ZAFT units, and that the general goal of the deck is to make use of our good support units and as well as breach. I'm getting sidetracked. Let's go ahead and keep talking about Athrun Zala. We'll talk about the mid-range nature, the 2-for-1 nature, and all that good stuff because we care about support, we care about breach. So Athrun Zala, super good card, level 4, 1 cost, 1/2 pilot. When linked during this turn, this unit may choose an active enemy unit that is level 5 or lower as its attack target. So it can attack almost anything on the field, which is super, super good, especially good because we want to have breach, so when we destroy that unit, we can apply damage to our opponent's base, or more importantly, their shield, so we can trade with the board and also damage them at the same time. And that's the big key thing with this deck. We want to trade with our opponent's board as much as we can and also damage them while doing so. And luckily, we have a lot of good ways to do that. So of course, we're running the 4/4 Athrun Zalas. So here's that's Athrun Zala, and then we have a good 12 units that link specifically with Athrun Zala, and then another 8 that also link with him because of the ZAFT trait here. So that is a total of 20 units that Athrun Zala can link with, which is wild. He's a ZAFT coordinator, by the way. That's true for all of our units, or all of our pilots for the deck. So if anything cares about ZAFT or coordinator, all of them are that. All right, so this is our Justice Gundam from the namesake of the deck, Justice for ZAFT. This is a red-white deck, but it's mostly red with a little bit of splash of white, and we're splashing the Justice Gundam because I think this card is really, really good and super underrated, though maybe some people are coming around to it finally. It's a level 7 5 cost, so it's our big finisher. It's a 5/5, links with Athrun Zala, triple ship alliance, which we don't really care about all that much. On deploy, we deploy a 2/2 blocker unit token. which is really good. And then during pair, when this attacks, we can choose one of our Triple Ship Alliance unit tokens, and it can also attack the turn that it is deployed. So basically, let's go ahead and get the token real quick. So here is the 2/2 blocker token that we get when we deploy the Justice Gundam. And so the idea is we deploy Justice Gundam, we get our 2/2 as well. So just baseline, this is 5 cost for 7/7 stats, and 2/2 of it is a blocker, which is just pretty good on its own. But more importantly, when you link up with Athranzala, making this a 6/7, and then you attack with your Justice Gundam, notably, we can attack with anything level 5 or lower because of Athranzala's effect. Then we can also attack with the 2/2, the Fatum 0000. What this means is we have a double attack with just this combination of cards, just with Athranzala and the Justice Gundam. And you can actually go to shields as well. So this is a great finisher for this deck. Super great, late game style effect. And, depending on what you have going on, it's good to save Athranzala for this, but not always, not always. And we'll talk about that as we progress. But yeah, the Justice Gundam, actually a really sweet card. So we are running the full 4 of. I do have the fancy alternate art there. We're also running the starter deck Aegis Gundam. I think this is really good and also very underrated. It's a level 4, 3 cost, and now all of our ZAFT units that are level 4 or below, really important for another card that we'll talk about. So level 4, 3 cost unit. On attack, if this unit has 5 or more AP, choose one enemy unit that is level 5 or higher and deal 3 damage to it, and it's a 4/3. Once again, links with Athranzala. So this is really good. We have a lot of ways to make this have 5 or more AP through all of our pilots or our support effects. So it's actually not that hard to pull off for this one in particular. And if we can get Athranzala on this immediately, then we have a 5/5 that can jam into anything level 5 or lower, and we can shoot something that has that is level 5 or higher for 3 damage, which is pretty good. I also really like that this is just on attack, so you don't need any specific pilot to activate this effect. So it's very good. We're running a full 4 of this. And then finally, we have a really simple one. This is the Aegis Gundam Mobile Armor Mode. This is a level 4, 3 cost. Once again, links with Athranzala. It is Breach 3. It's a 3/4 with Breach 3. This is really great that it links with Athranzala, but it's also just really good by itself, even without the link, which is why this card is just super good and versatile, which is also why I kind of like the Aegis Gundam. It's pretty good even without the link if we can just give this a pump with any one of our support cards, which is really, really good. So yeah, that's fantastic. And those are the 12 Athranzala specific links. Now, we have a lot more to talk about. Let's talk about some of our other pilots. So this one is Isaac Jewel, or is it Isaac? Seed is one of the few Gundam series I haven't watched. So let me know if it's Isaac or Isaac, or maybe something different. But he's a level 3, 1 cost, +1/+1 pilot. Pretty good. And then once per turn, when an enemy link unit is destroyed with damage while this unit is attacking, draw 1. That's way easier than it looks because we have a lot of ways to attack into stuff. Once again, we want to be attacking into stuff with our breach units. And we also have several other units that can deal damage when they attack, right? So this just says when an enemy, while an enemy link unit is destroyed with damage while this unit is attacking. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm very, very confident that that would apply with the Aegis Gundam because it is going to be dealing damage while it is attacking. It doesn't specifically say damage during combat, it's just damage while it's attacking. So an effect that can deal extra damage to something else, I think you would get the effect on Isaac Jewel and get to draw that card. And we're going to see this kind of effect with the other 2 pilots, just pilots that let us filter or draw cards, which is really important, which is one of the reasons I think this deck actually flows really well. Everything synergizes with itself, but we also have some card draw on our pilots, which is pretty rare. And of note that Isaac pilots the Aegis Gundam very well. It brings it up to that 5 attack points, so we can actually pair up Isaac, and we actually get both of the effects because this is not a link, this is not a link, so we still get the effects, which is really good. Like I said, the deck just really hums and really synergizes. So yeah, Isaac's pretty solid. We're running 3 of him. And then we have Izak's specific Link unit. We have the Dual Gundam Assault Shroud. I think this card's actually very good if you build your deck around it. And we are building our deck around it because literally every single unit in our deck is ZAFT, and we have a crap load of them. We have so many units. So this is a level 5 4-cost 4/4. And then when paired, and this is just with any pilot, you can just, anytime you pair this, which is great. So you can pair this with any of the pilots we have here. But it does link with Izak, so if you do Izak, you can attack immediately. But anyway, when paired, we look at the top 3 cards of our deck, and then we can deploy one ZAFT unit card that is level 4 or lower among them, return the remaining cards to the bottom of our deck. So we just play it. You just deploy it, which is super, super good. Huge, huge tempo. So if you play this on turn 5, you pay the 4 cost, you link up Izak. You can maybe even get this effect if you attack into something nice and destroy something, get that extra card draw. But also, you get the Dual Gundam Assault Shroud effect of hopefully getting to deploy a ZAFT card, which is great. And like I said, every unit in our deck is ZAFT. The only things that you can't hit off of it are the Dual Gundam, and I guess not technically every unit. The Justice Gundam is not ZAFT either, but it still also doesn't fulfill the requirement. So even if it was ZAFT, it wouldn't work anyway. But these are the only 2 cards. Just the Dual Gundam and the Justice Gundam. Every other card, Aegis Gundam, or both versions of the Aegis Gundam, all of these here, the other Dual Gundam, the Legao, the Bukyu, and then as well as another cracked card, the Buster Gundam, they all get deployed off of this Assault Shroud. Very good. So yeah, I think this card is one of the cards that it's super, super good if you build your deck around it. And hey, that's what we're doing here. And then we have our final pilot, Dirka Elfman. Another level 3, 1-cost +1/+1, so decent stats-ish. This one's pretty good because when linked, you discard a card, and then if you do, you draw a card. So it's just a nice little card filter, which is great. So we can filter our hand if we have something that we don't need, or if we really want to draw into a good link effect, or something to that. This is great. And we actually have a lot of ways to link Dirka because we have 4 of his signature mobile suit, the Buster Gundam. But we are also running, as I mentioned, the Dual Gundam and the Legao, which both link with any ZAFT pilot. So this is another 8 on top of that. So Dirka actually links with 12 of our units, which he's really, really easy to kind of pull off the effect. So I like Dirka quite a bit. And I like that you just get it when you link. Don't have to attack, don't have to do anything else. You link it up, get +1/+1, and then you get that discard draw. Really solid. And then the Buster Gundam, which is the signature, is a level 4 2-cost 1/4. And this card is a crucial part of this deck. It says, activate main, support 3. So we rest this and we give another unit +3 attack for the turn, which is super good. And then during pair with any coordinator pilot, which is all of our pilots. So we can do this if we pair this with any of our pilots. Once per turn, when you use this unit's support to increase a ZAFT unit's AP, once again, every unit in the deck with the exception of the Freedom Gundam. So if we support anything except for Freedom Gundam, then we set this unit as active. So that means we can actually support twice, or we can support once and then get an attack in if we have a link, or if this has already been around for a turn. The Buster Gundam's super good and gives us so much value, and it can even turn some of our little weenie units into absolute powerhouses that can trade really profitably with our opponent and actually trigger that breach, which is really, really good. So yeah, Buster Gundam, super, super good card. And we are running the alternate art for the Buster Gundam as well. So running a full of the Buster Gundam, and I don't know if I mentioned we are running the alternate art, one of the Dual Gundam Assault Shroud as well. All right, so let's talk about the other units in the deck. And I've already kind of like shown off these, already, but yes, they are all ZAFT and they are all very good. So here we have the Dual Gundam, a great turn 3 or 4 play, especially if you have any pilot, because this links with any ZAFT pilot. It's a level 3 2-cost 3/3, and then if it has 5 or more AP, it gets Breach 3. Now this is pretty easy to get with any of our support cards. So Bukyu or the Buster Gundam, both of them will give the Dual Gundam Breach 3, which is fantastic. And if we can get that link effect, then we can, even get any more, more value out of it from all of our pilots. Because all of our pilots give us some form of value, whether it's a discard draw, whether it's being able to attack almost anything, whether it's being able to draw if you kill the right thing. Yeah, so this is a great one. And we also have other ways to, we don't necessarily need the pilot as well, right? We can just use a support effect and just get the, just get that breach. So, yeah, very, very good. So that's the dual Gundam. Next up, we have the Legao. So this is a card that I used to not run on the deck at all, that I have started including for two reasons. One, it's fairly efficient, but more importantly, it links with any ZAFT trait, and that's why I ended up putting this in. The effect is good if you can pull it off, specifically if you have a Buster Gundam on field, but other than that, it's still really solid. So it's a level 3, 2 cost, 2/3, and on attack, if it has 5 or more AP and is attacking an enemy unit, choose one enemy unit and deal 2 damage to it, which is really solid. So just to blast something for 2, if it has 5 or more AP, and if it's attacking an enemy unit. Now, how do we get it to 5 AP? Well, there's a couple ways. We can either use the support from the Bukyuu plus a pilot, right? So that would make that plus 3 to make it 5. All of our pilots give at least 1 attack, or they all give exactly 1 attack. Or we can just use the Buster Gundam by itself, and the Buster Gundam just pumps this up. Like I said, Buster Gundam, really important to this deck. So yeah, this is pretty efficient and pretty solid. And we have another card that, helps us make this card even more efficient when we'll talk about our bases. And then the final unit in the deck is the Bukyuu. I've already shown this off a couple times. It's the only non-link unit in the entire deck. It's a level 3, 2 cost, 2/3, and then it just has a support 2 effect. It's ZAFT. It's great. This is, if we could run 8 of these in the deck, we would run 8 of them. It's super good. One of the big things is just having good support units for this deck, and there's a lot of ZAFT support cards that I just don't think are good, and I don't think they really cut the mustard here. We want at least 2 support or more, and we want something that's reasonable, and I feel like this is reasonable. Alright, so let's talk about the final cards in the deck, and then we'll talk about some synergies, and we'll talk about some other cards you can consider running. So, the final cards in the deck, since we are playing white, we are running Overflowing Affection. It's just a really, really good card, super efficient, great turn 2 play. We can draw 2, discard something that we don't want to play, and help set up our turn 3. So yeah, we're running the full 4 of. And then finally, we have our base, the Gamao. I think this base is super good for this deck, and it makes it so we can actually trade very well. The fact that it only costs 1 means we can play this on a turn where we can actually use this effect, and then hopefully get some value out of that. So it is a level 2 1 cost base, which is pretty good, level 2 base. It's a 0/5. Same base stuff when you deploy it, add a shield to your hand, yada yada. But more importantly, activate during the action step, which is really important. You can't do it during main, it's only during action. Rest this base, choose one friendly ZAFT unit with 5 or more AP, and it gets Breach 3 during this battle. And so that makes stuff like the Legao, if you can pump the Legao up to that 5 on attack, you get to blast something for 2, and then hopefully also give it Breach 3, which is so efficient, right? Just with these 2 cards, and maybe like Buster Gundam, for example, that's the easiest way to do this. On attack with your Legao, blast something that it can kill with a 2, pump it, or rather, you already pumped it, so it's already coming in for 5. Then you use the Gamao to give it Breach, so you kill something that it's attacking, kill something that it's shot, and then you also breach into their shields. That's crazy value for just a lone little Legao, which is exactly why we are running this over something else that we'll talk about. Also, the Gamao, just breach, having ZAFT units with 5 or more AP is not that hard. Obviously, Buster Gundam gets there. Buster Gundam activation just single-handedly gets any of our units to 5, with the exception of another Buster Gundam, but even then you can like maybe do the double pump. But 5's not too hard to get to. Like, once again, we mentioned the Aegis Gundam, so just slapping on an Atherin Zala, and then you can now give this Breach in addition to all the other shenanigans that it does, which just synergizes super, super well, because you can attack anything level 5 or lower, you can blast something that's 5 or more HP for 3 damage, and then you also give it Breach with the Gamao. So as you can see, the deck synergizes really, really well with itself. We are running the full 4 of here. And so the idea is, as you can see, we play some ZAFT stuff, hopefully get some ZAFT value, with some various card draw or attacking effects. We want to play our support units that can then pump up our dudes to 5 and then get some good trades, get some Breach. We have ways to get Breach without the Gamao. Obviously, we have the Aegis Gundam that just has Breach, and then we also have the Dual Gundam that also can have Breach if it has 5 or more AP. And once again, we can get this AP from either of our support units, either from a Bukyuu or from the Buster Gundam. What's really cool about the Dual Gundam, by the way, it is a level 3 2-cost card. It's a 3/3, but notably, our other pilots are also just level 3s. Not Athrin Zal, he's level 4. But these two are level 3s, so you can actually, if you, depending on what you have going on, turn 3, you can Dual Gundam, link up, and then attack into something. It likely won't have breach at that point, unless you wait another turn where you can play like a Bukyu or something, and then you can pump it up, into that area. But still, super, super solid. So yeah, that's the deck. I think it's super fun. I think it's super underrated. You definitely want to play a specific way with this deck. It's really about trading into our opponent's board as efficiently as we can, hopefully getting some card draw, waiting till you can get some effects, like where you actually draw some cards from like Izak. Hopefully you can get more value out of stuff like the Dual Gundam. Once again, this is a 4/4. So if you just link this up with any pilot or just pump it with anything, once again, we can give it that breach. And then getting value off of attacking with breach. So yeah, it's fun. It's really cheap. I recommend trying it out if you have it, just because it's so affordable and just not a lot of people are playing with this. And it's the kind of deck that I think can get better over time if they just make, more ZAFT, like better ZAFT stuff. Pilots that give you +2 attack or more supports. So speaking of support, let's talk about the cards that are in consideration. So this card is the biggest consideration for this deck. It actually works really, really well, but has 2 misgivings. So it's a level 2. This is the Gazadi sleeves, by the way. It's a level 2, 2-cost, 2/1. Unfortunately, it is Neo Zeon and not ZAFT. And it has activate main, support 2. So that support 2 is crazy good. And the fact that it's level 2 is also crazy good, which means you can play this on turn 2, and then on turn 3, you can do something like a Dual Gundam, give it the +2 attack, link up, and then actually get the breach, which is really, really good. Similarly, just getting the +2 attack to anything is super good. Gives you, the helps you get to those break points, right? That you really want to get to the 5 attack. So yeah, it's really good in this deck. So why aren't we running it? Well, it's not ZAFT. Also, it only has 1 health, which is really bad right now for all of the ping decks. This is just a free kill. You can maybe get 1 or 2 uses out of this, and it just dies super easily. And if it was ZAFT, I would be running it, but it's not ZAFT. And the whole reason that we want it to be ZAFT is because we need an actual critical mass of ZAFT cards so we don't whiff on our Dual Gundam Assault Shroud. Because whiffing on this just sucks real bad. But hitting on this is just great. You just so much temple value, you just get so much stuff on the board. So that's the reason we're not running the Gazadi sleeves. I have played with this in the deck. I have been tried 4, I've tried 2. I just ended up cutting it entirely just for the Legaos, essentially. Just having all of the link effects, just having the generic ZAFT trait link combined with the Dual Gundam. We just have 8 units that just link with any of our pilots, which is super, super strong. And it just makes it so Athrin can just pair with or link with just anything in the deck almost. So that's why we're not running the sleeves. I think it's very good though. I think it could potentially be something that you run. And then finally, it's just the other 2 pilots, just running more copies of them. I've been swapping between this, cutting some cards here or there. I would not cut any of the support cards. If you want to cut something at all, look at stuff like the Legao, which is kind of a little bit more tricky to pull off, or something like the Aegis Gundam MA mode, or maybe the regular Aegis Gundam, but I would not cut any support cards. We really need them for the deck. In fact, like I said, if we had better support cards, like ZAFT versions of Gazadi sleeves, we'd be running them in the deck. And so yeah, that is our Justice for ZAFT deck. Just to recap, control the board through all of our really strong link effects. We have so many ways to do that, and a combination of support, pumping up our dudes so we can actually trade into the bigger units. It's left unspoken, but just being able to be like, all right, I have my Dual Gundam, right? And my opponent has their big Wing Zero already on the field, right? You can play your Dual Gundam and then something like a Buster Gundam, and then get a double pump on the duel to just smash in, it'll attack for 9, get that breach. I don't know, there's a lot of ways to do cool stuff with the deck, and I think it just gels really well. And at the end of the day, is a lot better than folks think. And then you have good finishers like the Justice Gundam. Just be careful. Your Othranzalas are at a premium in this deck. He links with so much stuff, and you know you really want to do some good stuff with the Justice. But it depends on how your game plays out. So yeah, let me know what you think of the deck in the comments section down below. Have you tried ZAFT yet? What is your preferred ZAFT build? This is the one that I've been enjoying quite a bit. Yeah, that's going to be that for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this deck. Once again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially if you like the trading card game content and Gundam in particular. And we'll see you next time.